It is time, and in this installment, we're going to be going over Week 5 NFL DFS on Draftkings. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for our Week 5 NFL DFS slate on DraftKings. But before I deep dive into this very, very intriguing slate, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. But before I touch on that, guys, we are on the homepage right now of the YouTube. Guys, I am appreciating the support. Continue to put your effort through on the views, on the comments, and on the subscribes as well. We are 1.429. All right, we're right on that cusp of 1.43. So guys, if you are viewing this channel and not currently a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. And guys, we're going to go to this Patreon page. You guys are missing out. You need to sign up right now, because this Thursday Night Football, we absolutely destroyed the entire slate. I posted the +6 of the Chicago Bears as my main play, and then 5 minutes later, I came out and said DJ Moore to score the first touchdown and DJ Moore to get 2 TD prop. Is right there in bold letters for you guys. If you did not take advantage, we cashed in on last night. All right, let's look at what we did on Thursday. We had this beautiful parlay, Chicago Bears +6. I like Fields to score 1 touchdown. DJ Moore 25 yards. Terry McLaurin. Everything's all modest. This is all nice little add-ons onto a boost, so you can jump up your parlay. Okay. Not only we had that, we had the Chicago Bears +6. Chicago Bears +6 again. We had the DJ Moore first touchdown. That was $10 to win 180. All right. We paired the Bears with the Blues. And then DJ Moore 2 touchdowns. That was 10 for 280. The only thing I messed up on is that I didn't have the 3 touchdowns, and that would have been over $1,000. Okay, so guys, you need to get into this Patreon right now. Do not miss out on these winning plays. Remember, that link is down below. Get into it right now. Starting off at the quarterback position, we're gonna go off all the way at the tippy top, and that's going to be Patrick Mahomes at $8,200. This is a perfect bounce back situation here for Patrick Mahomes. Had a poor performance against the Jets, a really poor performance, because Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes. He was 18 of 30, only 1 TD, and threw 2 interceptions. When was the last time you seen Patrick Mahomes throw 2 interceptions? Remember, this is an elite Jets defense, okay, all around. He did chip in with some crucial runs with 51 yards there, but hey, this is Patrick Mahomes, and now he's going up against the Minnesota Vikings on the road. This is a very good matchup for him to bounce back, and it's going to be a high scoring environment. That's going to be the theme of most of these quarterbacks that we're going to be aiming for in this Week 5 slate. All right, we got KC versus Minnesota. That's going to be a barn burner. Miami against the Giants. That might be more one-sided than you think. But hey, that has upside to score a lot of points, because the Giants are going to have to keep up pace, and they're going to have to try to get this thing going with Daniel Jones. That's an environment you want to attack as well. Baltimore, Pittsburgh is a one-sided affair to me. I think so. A game that's going to be a barn burner is going to be Philly against the Los Angeles Rams here. This is going to be a juicy one that we want to attack. I think the 2 main stacks we want to have in the majority of our lineups is going to be KC in Minnesota and Philadelphia going up against the Los Angeles Rams. That's going to be big environments here. And those games are both at the 4 o'clock edition. So don't be scared or frightened that, hey, I got all my guys or majority of my guys going around that 4 o'clock range, because they're going to be coming in pretty hard, I think so. Now, Patrick Mahomes was one of our top plays at quarterback. Obviously, you want to look towards the other side. If you want to save salary, get a little creative in your lineup build and go with more of a Kirk Cousins, and then you can bring back Kelsey. You can get creative that way. Kirk Cousins always has upside in a game environment where it's going to be over 50 points in a total. Okay, so you see an environment where Kirk Cousins can throw for 300 yards and 2 to 3, even maybe 4 touchdowns. That's what the Vikings are going to have to do if they're going to have to try to win this game away from KC. They got the home advantage. That's a plus, because this would be a whole nother story if they're in KC. But Kirk Cousins should be comfortable at home and not in prime time. This is a perfect spot for Kirk Cousins to step up and step out at 6,900. You're getting him at a very good price. This is a guy that can clearly throw for plus 350 plus yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns. So I like Kirk Cousins at 6,900. All right. The next quarterbacks we're going to be going to will be Lamar Jackson. One off here, Lamar Jackson at 7,800. Continue to go to this well. I want you to have a lineup with Lamar Jackson and a Lamar Jackson stack each and every week. He will be the #1 scoring quarterback this year. It's going to be between him and it's going to be between Justin Herbert, I believe so. And so far, Lamar Jackson has looked phenomenal other than week 1. Week 2 against Cincinnati, 22.88. With week 3 against the Colts, 32.18. And then week 4 against Cleveland. This was the top defense in the league, going by all the stats. Cleveland, he came through and put a 30 burger on them with 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns. This is a very, very dangerous Lamar Jackson. Love him at 7,800. All right. Now, the other game we want to get towards will be that Philly and Rams game. So at the quarterback position, we'll be looking at Jalen Hurts. I told you guys to play him last week, and he was a great play. Got you 27 fantasy points, and it was great that Washington kept things close. So if you had that stack there, that was definitely a plus move to have. And Jalen Hurts at $8,000 in salary is definitely worth it. They did not budge his price. He's still staying at this current salary, and I think it's worth it. He can definitely provide 25 to 30 fantasy points in this game environment where you're talking about Cooper Kupp coming back into the fold. Now, this is a very, very up and down game we're looking at if we're talking about all the weapons healthy on both sides of the football. So I like Jalen Hurts at $8,000 in salary. If you want to go with the cheaper route and look at the other side, that would be Matt Stafford. If you want to punt your quarterback, 5,600, and you do get a very, very capable game environment here against the Philadelphia Eagles, because the Eagles are injured in the secondary and they have been exposed in that secondary as well. Okay, as you can see, passing defense rank is 27th. And that is a perfect matchup for Matt Stafford. He looked like he has bounced back this year, fully revived and rejuvenated, and he still does not have a game yet where he has multiple touchdowns. I think that's going to come in this game against Philadelphia. Perfect environment for him to do that. All right. And then finally, our last punt quarterback we're going to be going towards will be Zach Wilson. Yes, I said it. Zach Wilson showed himself finally against KC, 28-39, very efficient, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think you guys got to go back to that well. What I did in that game is with 2 touchdowns, Zach Wilson over his passing total, and that should be a very beautiful parlay right there. All right, so Zach Wilson here, 4,900. If you want to punt it, then definitely do so here. This is the worst defense in the league if you want to go by the lineups metrics here. Fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. Right now, the Denver Broncos, they should be 32nd. They're 27th right now, 27th overall, 27th in the red zone, allowing 291 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to quarterbacks. That is absolutely asinine. They're giving the most touchdowns to quarterbacks in the whole entire league on average. So this is a perfect spot here to build confidence for Zach Williams. So I like him at this price at 4,900. Let's move on to the running backs. Now at the running back position, I just want to say, guys, last week we smashed it. I gave you Derrick Henry and I gave you Christian McCaffrey as one of our main plays. Derrick Henry, I told you he would bounce back, and what did he do against Cincinnati? he bounced back fully. 22 carries, 122 yards, 1 TD. He even threw for a TD as well. Derrick Henry had a phenomenal day, 27.38 fantasy points. Absolutely outstanding game. He should have another good game against the Indianapolis Colts if you want to go back to that well at 7,500. That one, you got to give me kudos on that one. Now, let's see if we can recreate it this week. I'm going to talk about my favorite running back of this whole entire slate, but we're going to go through some of these guys at the top. Saquon Barkley against Miami. This is not that great of a matchup, but hey, the Giants need their number one running back here. They cannot do it without him, and obviously Matt Breida is a big downgrade compared to Saquon Barkley. I think Daniel Jones needs his number one running back here in Saquon Barkley. They need to establish the run game so it can make things easier for the New York Giants offense and easier for Daniel Jones as well. So if you want to go to that well of Saquon Barkley, is 8,100. It's not the greatest matchup against Miami, but it's definitely something you want to attack before Saquon Barkley's price gets too high, all right? Bijan Robinson against the Houston Texans. This has always been a great matchup to go against the Houston Texans run defense. If we've seen it so far this year, 29th overall, 29th in red zone, allowing 115 yards and 4.1 yards per carry, 2 TDs a game to opposing running back. So Bijan Robinson is yet again in another good spot. He's looking at 15 to 20 touches in this game against the Houston Texans here. They're trying to bounce back after that embarrassing loss, and well, embarrassing 2 losses against the Jaguars and the Detroit Lions, okay? Continue going down the list. Kyron Williams is in a tough spot against the Philadelphia Eagles. David Montgomery against Carolina is in a very good spot here, going up against the Carolina Panthers. And he saw a workload against Green Bay, coming back off injury. 32 carries, 121 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also chipped in 2 receptions as well. Got you 37 fantasy points. This guy's the lead back on this team. Unless he's out, you got to continue to consider him in your lineups, especially if he's going to stay below $7,000 in salary. He's seeing well over 20 touches. They're using him as a full workload, as a full workhorse, and giving Gibbs just minor work, okay? Let's continue to go down. Joe Mixon at 6,400. This is a great spot. This is what CMC did, had last week against Arizona. Now you get Joe Mixon. All right, so now the thing about Joe Mixon's, I just don't like him. I don't trust him. He is not that good to me. He just barely does enough. He's an upgrade over Najee Harris, even though Najee Harris is just like really, really bad. Joe Mixon is just a little bit better, and he has a little bit more explosion, but this is a guy, he should get you there. I don't think he wins you a slate. He did 1 week last year. That was all, most of his fantasy points. But hey, Joe Mixon's going to get you 20 touches in a game, and this is against Arizona's defense. So weigh that as you may. I preferably don't like Joe Mixon that much, but he is in a very, very good position going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Just saying, okay? Let's continue to go down. You got to consider these Miami cats here. You got Raheem Mostert and you got Devin Achane. Right now, Devin Achane is red hot. He's going to be a guy that's going to be mostly owned in the lineup builds and in these tournaments, okay? After going off for 54 fantasy points, his next game against Buffalo, he had 30. Very solid performance there, 8 for 101. He was so efficient. Oh, my God. 2 touchdowns yet again. And he had 3 receptions for 19 yards. This man is super, super explosive. He's going to get majority of ownership. But, hey, do not forget about Raheem Mostert. He's still the guy that's going to be getting majority of touches, all right? Wasn't efficient against Buffalo. That game got out of hand pretty quick. So I expect a bounce back performance from Raheem Mostert, and I don't mind paying him and being a little bit contrarian, going with Mostert over Devin Achane. All right, now let's get to some of these cheaper guys. Matter of fact, I'll get to my favorite play at the running back position. This is going to be my top RB of week 5, and that's going to be Breece Hall against these Denver Broncos. Breece Hall is very, very familiar with Denver. In Denver, he went off against this team last year And that was the game he tore his ACL. This man is going to be highly motivated. He went over 100 yards and a touchdown the last time he was in Denver. And now he's back and he's fully healthy. And this is going to be a revenge campaign here. He's going to get his first touchdown of the season. I'm guaranteeing it right now. Breece Hall should be an absolute lock in your lineups for week 5, all right? Denver Broncos against opposing running backs, 32nd overall, 32nd in red zone, giving up 166 yards a game, 6.1 yards a carry, and 2.3 touchdowns. You smash Breece Hall in that running back position in each and every one of your lineups. Let's go on to the wide receivers. At the wide receiver position, guys, you know the drill. We're going to pair our top wide receivers with the quarterbacks we already spoken about. And hey, if you want to get a little contrarian, this is where we go to the second and third wide receivers to really set yourself apart from everyone else. So the first game we wanted to focus in on, I talked about KC and Minnesota, and there's going to be a ton of wide receivers we want on both sides of this ball, okay? Justin Jefferson, of course, first of all, at 9,400. We can go towards him each and every week. This is going to be Mr. Consistency here. It doesn't matter if he gets a touchdown. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get a touchdown. He's going to get you there, all right? We're talking about 26, 30, 28, 27. These are phenomenal numbers. Justin Jefferson is that guy. You're going to be fine playing him. You're just going to have to find a way to figure out salary everywhere else because he is expensive at 9,400. All right. The next guy we'll be talking about will be Jordan Addison here, rookie wide receiver. He had 0 receptions, 1 target. And this is what happens. He's a rookie, obviously first year, and he struggled against Carolina. Most of the focus in that particular game was going to be on TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, and KJ Osborne. Didn't really get connected with Jordan Addison, okay? I expect him to bounce back. He should see at least a handful of targets. And this is a good spot for him in this game against KC. They're going to create some mismatches here going up against this KC defense, okay? Because they have more than one option that is very capable of really putting stress on this defense. If Zach Wilson can create offense, then definitely Kirk Cousins can, okay? So I like Jordan Addison at 5,300. And if you want to save some salary and still have access to the game, then you got KJ Osborne at 4,100. Basically, it's between Osborne and Addison fighting for the third reps here at that wide receiver position. It goes Justin Jefferson first, Hawkinson second, and then KJ Osborne and Addison are going to be that third guy in this offense. He was able to have back-to-back touchdowns in week 2 and 3. Week 4, a poor performance just like Addison did. So I expect one of these two guys to pop off in week 5, all right? On the other side of the ball, the question with KC is, who is their number one guy? All right, Sky Moore has been very, very poor. Other than week 2 against Jacksonville, he's hard to trust. The only really guy I trust out of all the wide receivers on KC is Rashee Rice. Okay, this is the guy I would go to. If you want to punt on the KC side, other than going with Kelsey, we'll talk about him very soon. Rashee Rice is going to be my favorite wide receiver on this offense. We see at least a little bit of consistency each and every game here. 5 targets, 2 targets, 7 and 5. We don't get any zeros, all right? It's not that great because this team spreads the ball around a lot. But Rashee Rice has been more capable being a lead wide receiver on this offense. The only other guy that's going to get a ton of work is MVS, and he needs a deep touchdown to really pay off his salary. So, hey, it could happen this week as well, right? So, the other wide receivers we're going to be looking at, the other game that's very, 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 very important is the Los Angeles Rams going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, we're looking at Cooper Kupp. He's back in the mix. How much work he's going to get? Will they have him on a pitch count? We're not 100% sure. If you want to play Cooper Kupp, you're going to have to take this risk here. $8,600 in salary. He's going to be back and ready to play, and he's going to make his debut. Most likely, they're going to feature him and definitely take advantage of the fact they got 2 good wide receivers, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua had splashed into the scene and created a lot of mismatches and looked like Cooper Kupp with Cooper Kupp being out. So Puka Nacua His previous game before Cooper Kupp came back, 9 of 10, 163, and a touchdown. Let's see how this happens and how it works out, how the split is going to go with Cooper Kupp coming back into the fold. So they raised his price at $7,700. That's going to be hard to swallow because you know someone's going to be taking some targets. But we are talking about a game that's going to be very high scoring, and Stafford doesn't have a multi-touchdown game. This offense is going to get going. I don't mind going with Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp in this matchup. And if you're looking for a third guy, 5,300, Tutu Atwell. He's had some big games already this season. 20 fantasy points in week 1, 15 in week 2, 17 in week 3. Okay, so definitely focus on those trios in these 2 games. Some of the other wide receivers we're going to be looking at will be Garrett Wilson for the New York Jets. If we want to choose Zach Wilson, we're going to have to choose his number 1 option, and that's going to be Garrett Wilson here. We saw some upside, some brightness, some light at the end of the tunnel. Garrett Wilson, 9 receptions, 14 yards, 60 yards receiving. Just didn't get in the end zone, and I expect that to happen. Denver's poor secondary. Even it doesn't matter that they have Patrick Surtain. This team has been giving up big plays each and every week, and Garrett Wilson is going to be chomping at the bit here to take advantage of this situation. And you have the confidence in Zach Wilson and his Jets offense. Hey, we need to get the ball in our best player's hand, and Garrett Wilson is going to be one of those guys. All right, now some of the one-offs we did have Lamar Jackson. If we want to pair him with someone other than Mark Andrews, we're going to have to go to the well to Zay Flowers. All right, the other guys on this offense for the Baltimore Ravens, I need to see it. I need to see Rashad Bateman be involved. I need to see Odell back and healthy. So that means Zay Flowers is going to have to be that number 2 guy behind Mark Andrews in this offense. And I like him this week to definitely pick apart this Pittsburgh secondary. We got old Patrick Peterson back there, and he's been looking horrible all year. They just let Nico Collins go fully off, and Zay Flowers is going to be out there with his quick and shiftiness. This is going to be a very dangerous game. Watch out for this. He's going to be one of our touchdown candidates this week. Right now, I got Breece Hall. He's going to get his first touchdown, and I got Zay Flowers. He's going to get a touchdown this week as well. Love these guys in these scenarios and these matchups this week for week number 5. All right, do we have anyone else? Daniel Jones. All right, Daniel Jones we want to have some access to that Miami and New York Giants game here. So we have the 2 wide receivers on the Miami side. We have Tyreek Hill at $9,000 in salary, and we have Jalen Waddle at $7,500. He's yet to go off. I think I want to be the guy that's going to go against the grain here, and I believe Jalen Waddle will have a big game. Tyreek's going to get his, but the guy that's going to take it to the next level to possibly have a game, 20 to even 30 fantasy points, I'm going to put my bottom dollar on Jalen Waddle will finally wake up against these New York Giants. I like him at his price at $7,500. All right, if you're paying up at other spots, you're going to need to cut some salary somewhere, but you want to have access to these game environments. Jalen Waddle is going to be one of those guys. On the New York Giants side of the ball, watch out. This is going to be our favorite punt play to have this week. All right, at the wide receiver position, we saw some upside here from the wide receiver position of the New York Giants, and the guy we'll be looking at will be Wan'Dale Robinson here at $3,000 mid salary. He had 5 receptions, 6 targets, 40 yards, involved in the rushing game as well. I'm liking the explosiveness I'm seeing from this kid right here. He's going to be one of our top plays as a flex punt to throw in each and one of your lineups. If you build up all your other positions and you want a punt play, Wan'Dale Robinson is going to get a lot of opportunity, a lot of dink and dunk, and he's going to provide some explosiveness for this New York Giants offense. All right, let's move on to the tight end position. Last but not least, we have the tight end position. In this spot here, this particular week, I think it is definitely a week that you pay up at the tight end position. We got Travis Kelce going up against TJ Hockenson in this KC Minnesota game. I see a lineups with that you could go with double tight end, be very contrarian, have access into this particular game here, and have a lot of upside here. Both of these guys are going to be highly utilized. Travis Kelce at 7,600. Right there, because you got no clear cut, obviously, wide receiver on Kansas City. You just go Kelce, and he needs to bounce back. He hasn't had a touchdown in the last in pretty much in a week here, and I expect him to do his norm. He hasn't really gone off yet as well. Where's the 25-point outburst from Travis Kelce? That's going to be on the cusp. That's going to be coming. I like him in this game. And then TJ Hockenson on the other side. Talk about mismatch city here. They have no one that can guard TJ Hockenson because they got to focus on Justin Jefferson as well. So this is a dynamic duo here. Hockenson should eat in this particular game. Definitely, I highly encourage double tight end for this week in itself, all right? We have Mark Andrews in another great spot against Pittsburgh here. This Pittsburgh's defense is trash, and he's coming off an elite performance here, 5 for 80 with 2 touchdowns. That's the Mark Andrews that we know, and that's what we've seen. Hey, we're bringing over this new offense to Lamar Jackson, and Mark Andrews is still the alpha on this team. Darren Waller is in a spot where he needs to bounce back. This is a very good spot here against Miami's defense. And if they're going to have some success, if they can create the run game going here with Saquon Barkley, this should open up some lanes to Darren Waller and the other guys. They went out and got this guy. He needs to step up finally. Well, Daniel Jones needs to step up finally here. So I don't mind going to Darren Waller here, 5,400. This is a candidate here that's going to be super forgotten about here. I like him at that current price. Hey, Sam Laporta. There's news that Amon-Ra St. Brown will not play in this game. Obviously, we want to hear good news on Josh Reynolds. If he's going to be cleared, then that's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on the Detroit Lions. So the second guy you're going to be looking at will be Sam Laporta in a spot here. Hey, Carolina does play tough defense, but Sam Laporta is going to see a very high target share in this game going up against Carolina with no Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is a spot where he can shine yet again, probably have another 20-point performance. This is what I'm talking about here. It is jam-packed at that tight end position. I can continue to go on down even lower. Dallas Goedert needs to bounce back. There's already been big reports coming out of the Eagles camp here, and they're talking about, hey, we need to get our guy more involved in Dallas Goedert. Don't worry, we will. There's a lot of greasing that wheel here, greasing that tire, and getting him happy. Well, hey, he hasn't said much because he's a professional, but we know that Dallas Goedert needs to do better, and we expect him to do better. He's a big focal point in this offense. I like him this week against the Los Angeles Rams. And if you want to save some salary at the tight end position, Dallas Goedert is 4,200. Hey, I can continue to go on. Tyler Higbee, 4,100. Technically, this is a very good spot here. The Philadelphia Eagles secondary has been very poor against opposing tight ends. As you can see right here, they are 29th overall, 29th in the red zone as well. 6 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown. That's what they're giving up per game. So that's where we want to attack as well. That's like 4, 5, 6 guys I've talked about. Even Pat Freiermuth being out, that's going to lead more to maybe Darnell Washington becomes more of a focal point, and he's a true punt play at the tight end position at 2,500. That's the cheapest price allowed. Hey, but I highly encourage you guys, pay up. Go with one of these tight ends up here. We got a ton of names here. Kelce, Hockenson, Andrews, Waller, Laporta, Goddard, Higbee. All these guys are in very prime spots, and these are the tight ends you need to focus on in week 5. All right, for this lineup build, hey, what do I have? I have KC. I don't have anyone from Minnesota. We'll throw in Hockenson in our lineup build. You can throw in the flex. I did say we got Wan'Dale Robinson. We got someone from KC. Oh, no. Hey, we're going to go double tight end. Let's see if we can fit that. If not, then we're going to move someone else. But hey, we're going to have someone from KC. and someone from Minnesota. We got a double stack there. We're pretty covered in that particular game. You need to probably adjust somewhere else. We only have $1,400 in salary. Hey, we can move Montgomery a little bit lower, find a cheaper running back, and then move up from there, and then take a min price defense. Or if you want to change Addison to someone cheaper, you don't have to go double wide receiver or in that Minnesota KC game. And you can change Addison to Rashee Rice because you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, and that's going to really relieve some salary here. And then you could probably go back to the Montgomery well at 6,600, and now you have enough for your defense. All right, $3,100 left. Find you a defense down here. There's plenty to pick from. One of my favorite defenses this week is going to be the Jets going up against the Denver Broncos because of what Sean Payton bad-mouthed the New York Jets coach, offensive coordinator, earlier this offseason. That's one good spot to go towards as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with another video very soon. All right. Peace out, guys.